This is Beyond the Big Screen podcast with your host, Steve Guerra.
Here is another Beyond the Big Screen teaser for episodes coming soon. I hope you enjoy and definitely tune in for the full episodes. If you want to learn more, you can head over to beyondthebigscreen.com. You can support Beyond the Big Screen on Patreon and Subscribestar. By joining on Patreon and or Subscribestar, you can help keep Beyond the Big Screen going and get many great benefits. Benefits include advertisement-free content, bonus content, and early access. The bonus content is great too. I will feature outtakes from episodes and live streaming episodes. If you join at the executive producer level, you will become just that, an executive producer of Beyond the Big Screen. You will be able to develop ideas for upcoming episodes, help find great guests, and of course have your name mentioned at the beginning or end of each episode. You won't just be a supporter, you will be a critical member of the team. Go over to patreon.com/Beyond the Big Screen or subscribestar.com/Beyond the Big Screen to learn more. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, send me an email to my email address, steve@a2zhistorypage.com, or follow us on social media by searching for A2Z History. I will see you next time Beyond the Big Screen.
But Sam Giancana ran all the outfit operations and handled all the business from the late 50s, onward for quite a while. And that's kind of where, my story kind of jumps into, is when Sam became the acting boss. He had many operations in Chicago, and there was a casino that was above a steak place called Gus's Steak House in Chicago. And that casino above the steak joint is what Pepe ran. Pepe ran the books, the betting and whatnot on the West Side. He's the kind of guy you went to when you were laying off bets. But Gus's Steakhouse above it was a casino. It was that casino that Pepe ran. They were close. Pepe stayed out of, I would say, I would call him a white collar gangster. He wasn't involved in the heavy stuff. He wasn't a hitter. He didn't do things like that. He was basically a bookie. But they were very, very close. And he was with Sam those last couple of days with regard to the assassination. He was driving him around because the guys that were normally with him were down in Dallas. So he kind of was filling in for him.
It always seems to me that Chicago's Mafia scene was really its own thing, separate almost from New York, that New York was such a behemoth, but Chicago stood up on its own and at least had some independence from New York.
Well, it had all of the independence from New York. The problem with New York is there were 5 families. You had 5 boroughs, and you had 5 constant struggling for power. That was the big issue with New York. You really had the 5 boroughs. You had 5 heads, and they were constantly clashing for money, territory, power. In Chicago, you had 1. That's it. You had 1 boss, and that's how the outfit was ran all the way from the very beginning. You had 1 boss, and you had captains that ran the outskirts of Chicago, whether it was the south side, the west side, the north side, but they all answered to one guy. You didn't have that internal struggle. You didn't have that in-house constant fighting for boss territories. And I think, I don't want to say that's why it ran so smoothly, but that's why it was so organized. You didn't have that kind of struggle over there.
And they were running their own show. How did the Mafia interface and wind up so connected with a huge Boston Brahmin politician like the Kennedy family?
Well, look, my uncle used to say that the government and organized crime could not exist without each other. And you laugh, but it's pretty
true,
much true. They were interwoven. People don't understand that the government used to turn to the organized crime to do all the nasty things they couldn't figure out how to do.